Hello and welcome to the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis. This is Brady Blake. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether it is a shit boss, a dreadful workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've had none of those things, chances are you are the problem.
You are the problem. Today we are joined by a comedian, actor, and online sensation, Aaron Gocs.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Mate, thank you very much, mate. We are very pumped to have you. I mean, we just got off the road only a couple of months ago on the Grip It and Rip It tour.
Oh, yes. Seeing the sights of, was it northwestern New South Wales?
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah,
Armidale. What do we have? Tenterfield, Inverell.
Yeah.
The bright lights.
Oh, my God. Get us
Would have been
back.
all right.
No, that was all. It was great, actually. Like, I sound a bit sarcastic, but it's I love doing those towns. Thanks for having me.
No, it was so much fun just getting out there. I love doing like country town gigs. They're just
Love
so much
country
fucking
gigs.
fun.
I love it.
If I could just do only country gigs, I'd be happy.
How do country gigs receive you, Gocsy? Because they and this is a generalization, but they maybe have not seen you online before. So when you turn up, they just take you at face value. They don't know what you're like online. So when they see you, they're like, are they excited? What do they think? What are their reactions?
Yeah, like you say, there's a bit of a mixed ratio. There's like usually a few.
Oh, yeah.
A really small niche amount have seen me. And then the rest haven't, and they're trying to work out what's going on.
Because Gocsy's fans know Gocsy, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're on YouTube, you had cornrows eating corn while, you know, listening to Korn. Some fucking
Very
good shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got the classic stitch up bit, you got all this stuff.
Actually, it's funny you say that because just yesterday I was putting in petrol and a guy came up to me and said the Korn one.
Yeah.
Which is fun because I don't get that often. I don't get that because that one actually went around the world, but my name was cut off and no reference to being a comedian. It was just like, is this guy cooked or what? You know?
Yeah.
And people were showing me like, this is in Mexico, Brazil, and but yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
No. But
Just want to let you know I've been noticed at the fuel pump.
That's a big
all right,
deal.
we've all got shit going on. Humble brag yesterday. I was at
I'm getting petrol. I'm putting petrol in my car.
You're going like, don't worry, mate. I'm one of you as well. I have to pour my own petrol. You know, after the hit rate of Korn eating corn while listening to Korn, I'm still working class.
I'm not even on the electric car yet. You know?
You're old school. You're a petrol head.
So
you're the face of Ford at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Very jealous.
That's another
my
one.
gosh.
That's another one.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
The funny thing about that is,
I lit it though.
oh
so
yeah. We worked together on that. But so the funny thing about that is they dressed me up nicely. I had a shower.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Big
watch
day.
out.
So, but because
First date alert.
because I've scrubbed up, you gotta look your best for these jobs. But because of that,
Massive Ford
people weren't 100% sure because it's on billboards and that. So I've got a lot of like, hey, Gocsy, is that you? Just because I've scrubbed up, like they were like,
Oh, they couldn't
they're
recognise you.
95%
Holy
sure.
hell.
I'm like, yeah, that's.
And then your hair's kind of like a blondish colour in that thing as well.
Yeah.
And then you got like this nice apron on and shit like that, you know? And they,
I
you know,
had my bleach blonde phase.
Okay,
So
so
most people have it in their teens. I had it at 38.
no,
Hey,
I love that
late
for you,
bloomer.
brother.
Yeah.
You know?
So what is the ad? What do you have to do? Because I've seen it as I'm fanging down the highway and I was like, that's Gocsy. That has to be Gocsy. But you're just standing next to the car. What did you do in the ad?
Yeah, well, that's what's funny about it because it's for a van, the transit van, and they got me to be a guy who's got a toasty business. But so there's an actual ad, but it's hasn't been seen much. It's more a still shot.
Yeah, no, the still shot's a big campaign, but I've seen the actual ads now because I was on set for them and I was like, fucking hell. And then, but the actual ads themselves are really good. They're put together really well.
As you know too, like it wasn't a long day, but I think it might have been 5 or 6 hours, which is funny to do that, and then it gets trimmed down to 15.
Fucking
Second
5
nothing.
seconds or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. I didn't even get to eat one of the toasties.
You didn't?
Nah.
No, I don't, man, you don't want to eat anything that's on set. There's like 80 people have touched it.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
on like they put a conveyor belt in that's not a real conveyor belt. Some guy's in the van doing a wheel and shit
You're
like that.
telling me now I've eaten so much prop food over the years. Like,
I am like, Gocsy, that's a fucking fake apple. You're like,
Yeah.
I wonder why it tastes like cork.
yeah. Tasted better than most apples I've had. But no, but some sets they like it because it's like they would have had to throw it out or
It's like if it's a nice cake or something, I'll do the cakes and shit. But I got burnt when I did the Maxi-Bon ad. I had to bite into the Maxi-Bon like 150 times, and it scarred. Yeah, you think yum till
But after
time 30.
Yeah.
And then
wow.
like,
you did a Maxi-Bon ad?
Yeah,
How have you never told me that?
I was
They're
a Maxi
delicious.
Bond man for like 2 or 3
Really?
years. Yeah.
For 2 or 3 years?
Yeah. I was a face of Maxi Bond. I was
my
Max
God.
Biscuit for a while, and then I was somewhat. But one of them I had a prosthetic jaw on. I had a big prosthetic jaw on, like a novelty jaw.
Okay.
You've had like the dream jobs like Maxi Bond,
Yeah.
Dustin Martin,
Yeah.
Shaq.
I've
Yeah,
actually
you've
not.
done
I've
very well.
not had a bad run. Yeah.
You could say Dusty's Australia's Shaq in a way.
Australia show.
Yeah,
I've had a very good run,
absolutely.
but I haven't had. I don't get a lot, but the ones I get are good.
Very
That's
good.
it.
I can't complain.
Quality over
You still
quantity.
do, though.
I'm opposite. I'm
A lot.
quantity over. Just give me all the little ones. No.
Well, Ford's massive. You've got heaps of good things along
Yeah.
the way, Gocsy. But what is the work? Because we know you. If someone thinks about Gocsy, we know that you're everywhere. Like everywhere you turn, there's Gocsy's doing something. He's on an ad. He's at a strange gig. He's driving to Darwin. You're just kind of absolutely
You must hate
everywhere.
planes or something like that. You're always driving everywhere, which I love because I'm a big driver as well.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I'm a big road warrior. But thanks for noticing that.
Yeah, you're a hustler.
Because I think it was a sports coach who said the best ability is availability. So
That's
just
good.
make yourself available.
That's what they say to the worst footballer.
Yeah,
as long as
yeah.
you're there, we might have to choose you
That's
because
it.
the other
They-
guys are hungover.
They tell him that, and then the best ones they say like, we want your best.
The best ability is speed
Man, you
or
can rock
scoring
up.
goals.
Doesn't matter. We're on your time. We will move this football game
Yeah,
around
come when
you.
you want.
Gocsy, though, you just be
Yeah.
there 24 hours a day, cunt. But that's true, though. You're available. You're working.
Yeah.
You're ready to
Work
work.
lots.
You're a hard worker. We love that.
So with the road trip thing, there's a few different reasons, but I have acknowledged some people have told me I'm crazy, and I agree with them.
The Darwin one was crazy.
Yeah,
when you
that was
drove
the
from
craziest.
Victoria to Darwin, I was like,
Yeah, and
that is for me. Even that was insane. But I was like, I want to do it.
well, the crazy thing about that is I toured with another comedian, my friend Angus Gordon.
Love him.
But he doesn't drive. So usually when you do a duo, you'd split it. But I just did the whole lot. Anyway, like you said, massive amount of distance. So on the last stretch, we're about an hour from Melbourne returning home. And I'm just falling asleep doing the classic, like, when you try everything, but your body's just like, nah.
Shutting down.
It's time to go.
I'm doing the head out the window like a dog. I'm like
Oh my
splashing
God.
myself with water. Had about 10 iced coffees, energy drink. Because your body, like I said, your body just decides.
There's a point where it goes, nah.
Yeah.
That was the only, because I've done a lot of stuff with him and I don't usually care, but that was the only time when I'm like, mate, have you ever thought of driving? Like,
Yeah, help a brother out,
like,
you know?
even if you don't have your license, like, you got to be better than me. I'm falling asleep here. Like,
Yeah,
like-
absolutely. It's so funny because when you tell this story, this is the first time I've heard it from your point of view, but I heard it from Angus's point of view. He was like, yeah, so Gocsy's just falling asleep. And I'm going, please pull over, Gocsy.
Yeah.
And Gocsy's going, no, I have
Gotta
to
get to the
I got to
gig.
get to this gig because
Yeah.
you're a worker.
Well, even at that point too, it's like he might not have had his license, but he could have grabbed the wheel or like.
Yeah, you could hold the pedals or whatever. You could
Hold
do
my-
the pedals.
Maybe the classic
Put on
Mr.
auto
Bean,
control.
done the eye thing, hold my
Yeah,
eyes
yeah,
over.
yeah. Like what is a Clockwork Orange? He's just
Yeah.
behind you. Got the
You're right.
eyedroppers
Just-
in for you.
Like sing to me. or
Yeah,
like-
dear Gocsy, please don't kill me.
Yeah.
You're right.
I like
This does sound like
But,
Angus's fault. You're right. Yeah.
Like a lot of things in my life, afterwards I can laugh at it, but it was very bad.
Stressful.
and
Yeah,
scary.
Angus told me this story and I was laughing along, and then I realised that he was actually just traumatised. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well,
maybe
there's trauma here.
Maybe next time get your fucking license,
get your
cunt.
license.
Yeah.
I know it's amazing
He's a
people
fucking
don't
grown
have
ass
it.
man. He's 30. He should have his license by now.
What happens
No,
when
well, like I
people
said,
don't?
usually I would not throw him under the bus, but on this occasion, it's like, that
almost
was
did.
one time when it was like, because it was like I felt really bad. Obviously, you don't feel good when that's happening.
No,
Yeah.
but
it's a
also
there was a-
don't
yeah.
drive like that
No,
because you
no.
literally are throwing yourself and your mate under a bus.
Yeah, well,
So
We don't want you. We don't want you bloody hurting yourself, Gocsy. Then we
For a
can't have you on our
gig, Gocsy.
podcast.
For a
I will
gig.
say I've learned from that. The next
Good.
time I do a crazy, insane 7,000 kilometer trip.
I love that it was 7,000.
Because you're a perf boy. That's one I've never done. But have you ever done the?
I haven't done the.
Malibu.
That's a big fucking drive. It's longer than you think, but
so
it's
boring.
It's and there's a stretch of road like
The
down the
Malibu.
bottom that's so straight, and you just like it just goes forever. Because when
What happens? They veer off into the desert.
yeah,
And just what do they hit? Nothing.
Oh, I mean, but the thing is like all those dips that go off the side of the road and shit like that, spoon drains.
I wonder what the death rate is along there.
It's pretty up there. But I mean, they wouldn't put speed cameras out there, even though it's got a high death rate, because it wouldn't get much revenue. Good on you, the police. And but when we
getting a bit political there. But
here we go, fucking
revenue raising.
These revenue raising scumbags. Nah, they're all right. Come to my show. But even there's a road like that to Kalgoorlie, and when I got my license for the first time, Dad's like, because you had to do the logbook, you got at 20 hours or something, and Dad's like, we're going to Kalgoorlie and you're fucking driving. And then it's like 6.5 hours and it's just a straight road and you're just holding it down. But you have to drive 90, so I just pissed everyone off who were going like 110. Yeah. And I'm like, Dad, I'm going 110. He's like, yeah, I don't want to be in this car for any longer, so just go 110. It's fine.
Well, little fact about me. I wouldn't call it a fun fact. It's more a sad fact. Okay. But I'm 39, never been out of Australia, hoping to one day. But there's various reasons, like I shouldn't blame being a parent.
There's no bridge out of Australia. You can't drive over it.
I was going to say, like, being a parent, I had kids young, so you know what that's about, but I can't just blame that. But anyway, my point is, one of the things that has stopped me is kind of really worried about doing a Chappelle Corby type thing, getting myself into mischief, trouble, which is less of a problem in Australia. Yeah,
accidentally.
The difference with me, I would have an actual boogie board in my boogie board bag.
Yeah.
Not a heap of pot, you know. But so the thing about Australia worries me a little bit less, but those huge distances, like I run out of petrol within the range of a city. So like, you imagine, what's it called, the Nullarbor?
Yeah.
You imagine me doing that, and people have said you can go like 600 or 700 k's without a servo, right?
Man, and they let you know like this is the last service station forever. But that's why.
But I'm the kind of guy I'd be like, yeah, I've got.
I don't believe
I know you would be, and I'd be so stressed out. I mean,
Yeah.
I have even like now, it's just in my head. I have a jerry can in my back of my car, and if I'm doing anything long distance or any country driving, that's always full to get me out of trouble.
Is it next to your go bag?
It is near my go bag, but also my car smells like petrol permanently now. Yeah. So every time I'm in there, it's like cooking my brain away. It's just the fumes in there. I'm like, people are like, why does your car smell like petrol? I'm like, yeah, I got a jerry can in the back for emergency.
At least cops don't like. I think like we're talking about cops too much, but they can do the booze check and the tongue.
They can't get you on petrol fuel.
Yeah.
Guys, you heard it here first. You can get high off petrol. Petrol sniffing's fine.
I'm just imagining they do those two tests, and then they're like, all right, so you're free to go. And then you're like, thanks.
See you later. Straight into a ditch.
This
wouldn't have happened if Angus was driving.
No way.
But what you were talking about, having the jerry can. So normally I don't, but for the NT trip I did, and lo and behold, we ran out just before Coober Pedy. But the reason being, not because of my normal stupidity, but this is different, because we were going through the night, so all the servos were closed. But yeah, we're about 20 k's from Coober Pedy, and then
and you had your jerry can?
Yeah,
you're
so
fine
it worked out.
Good as
and
gold.
then Coober Pedy is like the weirdest place I've ever been.
Yeah,
you ever
really
been there?
strange. Really
No.
strange. Underground. Everyone lives underground.
Underground.
Oh, that's that town because it's colder under there. Everyone.
And the Opal is like
Maybe I have been to Coober Pedy before.
Strange place, strange.
Yeah.
So we've come to understand that you basically do anything for work.
Yes, that's
right. And if you follow Gocsy online, you'll see that he's available to do.
Right now, you call him right now. He'll leave this podcast and he'll go work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not
because
doubt that.
you recently during lockdown, you messaged me a fair bit because you were in. I was working construction, and then you were getting into the trade. You said, "Oh, I'm a brickies labourer," and I said, "Brother, that is the hardest job in the world."
Yes,
I still say that. Husey before he was a brickies labourer. And I'm like, man, it is tough. And he's like, it's tough. They're aggressive. They yell at you.
Oh,
it's
did
stressful.
They yell at you?
It
Did
is.
you get yelled at?
Yeah. I could not hack it. I've admitted that. You know.
Did you quit or they fired you?
I quit. I quit because. So I started doing it. I was living in Ballarat, which is probably one of the coldest towns in Australia, and it was hard there.
Why were you living in Ballarat? You're from Brisbane.
Yeah,
that's a strange place to move to.
Just some like personal reasons.
Okay.
Met an ex now there. Wasn't an ex at the
okay,
time.
you moved there for love.
Yeah,
moved there for love.
That's
it's
a nice
beautiful.
way.
It's romantic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nothing says romance
And
quite
then
like
I got
Ballarat.
dumped and had to move back to Brisbane.
That's not a bad
so I've
thing.
gone from the coldest place in Australia to the hottest.
Yes.
Doing the hardest job. And so I was just collapsing. It is very hard work. I respect those guys 100%.
They don't respect you.
You're like throwing bricks up. You got to throw bricks up to the next level.
Man.
Oh my God. People
And then
throwing
like,
bricks at you.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And like these are really heavy barrows full of cement.
My mate, he listens to this pod, Ian. He's like, he's a fucking nugget of a dude. Like he's just staunch, and he's like, man, I did a day bricky labouring, and I got through it. But he reckons he never slept better, and he was like, that was the hardest day's work because it's like the cement's so fucking heavy. It's cold. It's up early. They work real fast because they want to get the fuck out of there. They're paid per meter square, so everything's like go, and you're kind of scaffolding at the same time. There's like you're on a construction site that's full of mud because it's at the base level. There's nothing easy. You're pushing wheelbarrows through mud, and it's fucking. Like when you said you were doing that, I was like, man, hats off because I would fucking struggle.
Yeah, it was hard, so I got out of that.
So is that the worst job? So we ask everyone what the worst job they've ever had was.
I'd say it's up there.
Yeah.
Definitely in terms of just
physical labor,
physical hard labor. It is probably worse than that was asbestos demolition.
Oh no!
Because that's, as you know, asbestos is not a nice item.
No.
So we had to wear like the masks and on top of that, so the actual job was bad, and then the people you're with.
Yeah.
It's not the select members of society.
It's a select crew. I always say that about fences. You know what I mean? Or there's a certain, not throwing shade on anyone.
No,
but sometimes, which is also fucked. But it's also fucked about when someone goes to jail or something like that. It's so fucking hard to get a job once you don't have a police check. So there's only certain jobs you can get, which is fucking shit. You know what I mean? I think they need to change that system. But you're like, it's fucking.
That was the problem.
And you get paid well for it because it's dangerous.
Well, I didn't, but the lunches were good. They'd bring you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, wash your hands first, boys. Don't breathe this in.
But they were seeing it like, feed them well, so they got more energy for the last little,
Yeah.
But like you said, like it is. I call it like last chance saloon. Like a lot of guys, fresh out of jail. So there was a lot of them pressuring me, like work quicker and stuff. So like,
Did you get bullied?
Yeah. That's
Did you?
Yeah, threatened and
Threatened?
It's hard enough, and you're up in ceilings and little gaps getting out this asbestos. You had to wear these the disposable suits that like cover your one piece.
And your whole face is
It's
covered?
gonna be hot as hell.
Yeah, and they're like disposable. You throw it out at every break. So you
At
go
every
through
break. Oh my
But
God.
they're like super thin. It's
I've
horrible.
worn them before. Yeah, they suck. They're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then if you've got that breathing mask on and you're in a confined space, that's fucking stressful. And it's hot. I've done one where we were doing some testing to see if there was some mold and some shit in this thing. Me and Harley were in those suits with the breathing shit, and it sucked.
Yeah.
So I'd put that equal with bricky labouring.
Okay.
Bricky labouring's just intense physical, but the other one's bad.
I'm excited that you're on the pod, Gocsy, because we've never had anyone who's been a taxi driver before.
Yes, well so those two are the two worst, but then I would have a special asterisk for taxi driver.
Okay.
Well, as in like it's the best or it was fucked?
No. Yeah, in terms of I see it in two parts. I like driving as we've covered
you
already.
love it.
And you love a yarn, Gocsy.
So that's why I got into it. But you're right, I do. But it was the dealing with people that ended up being
too much.
Yeah.
What kind of people? Drunk people?
Not nice people, yeah. Because I was night shift. It was in Brisbane. I did it night shift. So
taxi driver or Uber driver?
Taxi.
Taxi. Yeah.
Old school, by the book.
Yeah.
And very smart of me to just get into it just as Uber had arrived.
Yeah,
so
no.
not only were like sort of business was down, but it was also the hot topic.
Yeah.
Was like, what do you guys think of Uber?
Oh, you must.
And I didn't care, but they wanted me to be like, because there's this campaign on the news about like taxis hating Ubers, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't care.
I don't care. I just want to make my money go home.
So did you buy a taxi or do you just hire a taxi?
No, I was
borrowed one?
that is one way. But I was just working for a
Right, very smart. Thank heavens.
Well, you say very smart. You take home about 48% of your take for the night because you got to give
so much back for the car, fuel, and all that shit.
They used to cost like $200,000 the car.
The number plates, yeah. But the thing is, like, and rightly so, and I mean, not rightly so, but like, you could never get a taxi back in the day. Like, you just have to walk and then we lived in a shit suburb, and they're like, they would never come out because everyone would do a runner. Fair. Yeah. But like, I did a few, but you could never get a fucking taxi.
Or you have to wear like different like a mustache and some glasses and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I'd get
I
my
am
mum
not
to
Brett.
ring or something like that. But then even if you go to a
Get
taxi,
your mum to ring the taxi.
yeah, because they'd hear her voice and assume it was a lady. Then it would be because if it was like 4 teenagers would ring.
Yes. Oh,
but
okay.
then if you go to the taxi rank at like the casino in the city, where you heading, mate? Forestfield. They go, nah, mate. Next cab.
Okay,
Nah,
so
nah,
this
nah,
used to
nah.
be the case, but last night I was in the city with Lucas. We went and saw a play. Afterwards, we're like, let's just get like there's a row of taxis. We're like, Uber. Who the fuck knows whether Uber's going to pull in? Let's just get in the taxi. Went to the taxi. Hey mate, we're just going to Brunswick. He goes, nah.
Yeah.
I went, oh, okay. Oh, okay. He goes, no, I'm going somewhere else. I went, oh, okay, fine. So I went to the taxi behind him. Hey, and he go, all the doors are locked. Oh, sorry, we're just going to Brunswick. And he goes, nah. No, we're not going. I'm not going to drive.
See, I was opposite. People liked me because I didn't care about that.
Well, I thought you had to pick
I
it
let
up.
people smoke. I let people
and
smoke.
it's changed. The whole taxi.
You let people smoke in your car.
That's sick.
I just didn't
Wasn't
care.
even your
I didn't care about
taxi.
anything. Like that was why. but that was good. People like that, but also it made me not
How
get
did you
good
know?
takes and stuff because I
Yeah.
didn't.
How did they know that they were allowed to smoke in there? You say if you.
But I
Does it
wasn't
smell like-
advertising it. They would just ask, and I'd be like,
Whatever.
Yeah. I wasn't going out of my way.
Did it smell like
Self-
ciggies in your car? And when you return the taxi
I
to
don't think so. Probably the smell of whoppers and stuff.
That's a callback because when
Yeah.
Gocsy was kind enough to give
A
us a
call
lift.
back to something that we hadn't even talked about.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But
But I'm
giving
giving him
him
shit.
into Brett and
I'm giving him shit about on stage when we're doing this tour together because Gocsy gave us a lift from Good Chat Comedy Club to the Brisbane Powerhouse, and I'm in his car, and then like we're talking shit, talking comedy, you know, as comics do, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. And then like it's a 20-minute drive, and then 10 minutes in, I turn around and Gocsy's eating like a Whopper or a Big Mac. I was like, where did you get that from? He goes, oh, I had it down the side of my door, and I was like, hell yeah, brother. It was so funny.
well, that was another reason why I didn't have very good takes because being night shift and I'm trying to be a comedian too. So when it's like 7 or 8 p.m. like prime time, I was like dropping in to gigs to do a tight 5, like in my taxi. Also,
that's great.
And also, I'd like offer to pick up like interstate comics and
so you're helping out as well.
yeah, like when the fest was on. So yeah, but I was a sort of like with the smoking thing. I was very think outside the box driver, which also translates to not doing well because you know they all copy each other and they're like airport, city, and then they get like a really big fare.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
go
like,
anywhere.
I'm going to use my knowledge to like know what band is on or what
yeah.
sports events on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but in my mind is like think out the box. I'm getting ahead, but then go to the footy and they want 3 suburbs or like
Yeah.
And
So-
man, also now, do you know, man, the Melbourne airport now, since Ubers are coming in, it's the wild, wild west of taxis because all the car says taxi, but some of them aren't even registered to a company. When you rock up at night, there's like 20 taxis and none of them are actual
Really?
taxis that are registered.
Yeah.
And they got the POS system that, and you ask and go, hey, can I use a taxi voucher? Nah.
Yeah,
Nah, they all say
scumbags.
no because none of them have the system. I'm like, is this actually a taxi? One taxi driver picked up a friend of ours, Frankie McNear, from the airport, said he would accept the cab charge, got to their house. He's like, I'm not accepting a cab charge. She's like, that's all I got. And kept driving around with her in the block, around the block until she gave cash. And then I was like, you need to ring the cops because he's kidnapped you at that stage.
Yeah.
Cops got involved. I'm like, it's fucking,
they?
it's shonky down there. That's why ABC now give out Uber vouchers because I refuse to get into a taxi after that shit. Like,
so it's-
besides Silvertop, who I use, I got a guy there I use and I message.
Yep.
They're still legit and all that, and you get a beautiful car, beautiful driver. But if you rock up to a taxi rank, it could just be any cunt in a yellow car, and you don't know
Right.
fucking nothing about them, and there's no photos of them anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is sketchy as shit. If it's not Silvertop or the 1-3 cabs that it's marked, don't fucking get into it.
Well, I said that I didn't care, but that was one thing where I wanted to sort of change the industry from the inside. Like
That's nice, yeah.
I always went to places as quick as I could, and people would acknowledge that.
Yeah, okay. Oh, so you
And,
never ripped anyone off.
Sometimes they'd acknowledge it too far and be like, talk about race and stuff. But you know,
Oh, man, I was going to say, because
that was the other thing I got sick of was everyone wanted to deal with it, and it's like you can't sort of like. I felt like being like, you're not the first person to tell me I'm like a white driver. You know,
Man,
especially
when
in
I
Brisbane.
when I Ubered in Melbourne, everyone would be like, "Whoa, fucking Moby over here!" I was like, "Moby, like Moby Dick, the white whale. You're the only white driver." And I was
oh
like,
my God.
"What?" But they love the race card.
yeah.
They like love talking about it. I was like, "Man, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to earn some money on the side." This is like eight years ago.
Yeah. Plus, like, I guess because you do something yourself, you don't sort of think of what you look like. And I was a bit younger too. I think I was late 20s or early 30s.
Yeah, I never thought about it, except when you go to Brisbane and there are a lot of like white Uber drivers, which doesn't matter, but it's always a boomer and you're like, oh God, this guy's going to chew my fucking ear off.
Yes, always.
And then
There's
it's
lots of opinions. Absolutely.
Well, that was the other thing about the whole race language thing was I got sick of hearing that. But then also,
It's tiring.
like, I was going to say, I like to think I'm not racist no matter what. This is heading towards I'm not racist, but so I like to think that no matter what, but also so I'm not one of those people like, oh, you should like speak English, please, right?
Yeah.
But by the end, I preferred like non-English speakers because whatever they're talking about can just Whereas when you hear English, you have to pick it up.
Yeah.
And so I have to hear every shitty little, and that was like I said right at the start it was the dealing with people I ended up hating and like night shift, you're picking up groups of blokes going into town. Oh, I'm gonna do this to.
Do people do a runner?
Yeah.
Oh yuck.
Yeah.
Do people do runners?
No,
Never.
because
Good.
you're looking at a bit of an athletic specimen.
That's right.
And
exactly.
he's available all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
so he will come and get you.
Little
will
did they
chase
know
you
I
down.
couldn't be bothered to run. No, I'm joking. But no, it actually being honest, the traditional runner I didn't have, but there was more cards not working.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'll
That
go
could be an honest
inside, get your
mistake.
money for you.
That's a runner, mate.
And
That's a
then
runner.
being night shift, like 3 a.m. Saturday mornings, or like waking people up. So it's just
yeah.
like for what ends up being like $12 an hour,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You end up being like a kindergarten a childcare,
Yeah.
and all these
Therapist.
different things. You're
You're
like
a jack of all
you're
trades,
mini
you know?
police officer,
Yeah,
and
priest.
But that was the
Yeah,
other
priest,
thing.
marriage counselor.
Yeah. And then the other one that's well known is runners, but also spewers.
I was gonna ask.
That's the other thing I
spew?
always get asked. I was pretty lucky actually. There was a lot of sort of like quick pullovers. You know when someone
great.
Get him out quick.
and I would just, even if I was on the freeway, I'd just be like, get out. You know, like, I'm not clean, because I think you can. To the letter of the law, you can charge $100
Yeah.
or
That's
whatever.
what do they call it? Soiling fee.
Yeah, but I just would rather like, I don't want spew in my car.
Oh, gross. One time I was with my friend, her name's Shan. I don't give a shit. We're in like a maxi taxi, and she's a known spewer. Every time she gets two maggots, she will spew. She's just one of those people.
Same.
And she awesome. You should meet her. You guys would be great at a party together. Anyway, she was
Two bird
sick.
feeders over here.
For
the baby birds
me,
out.
it's probably all the bad food and chalky milk more than the alcohol.
Yeah, he hasn't even had a beer. He's vomiting everywhere.
But she opened the window in this maxi taxi and she kind of put her chin on the ledge of the car and just vomited, but it went all down the window thing, so in the crease of the car, and
You
it
can't get
smelled
that out.
so bad. And we were in there going, oh my God, do we tell the driver? Because he's all the way down the front, and we were all like holding our noses. It smelled so disgusting. And then when we got out, we just gave him like a $20 tip, and he was like, thanks. And we were like, oh, you're not like, and when he drove away, we were like, we did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
My mate, it took us like 3 hours to get a fucking maxi tax once, and I think it was like my mate Craig. We get in this thing, we're like, fuck yeah, we're so stoked. We get to go to the city. We don't even get to the first fucking roundabout. We're 5 minutes out of fucking Forestfield, and he's like, just like lets out the biggest fart, and it's so dense. Everyone's like, and the taxi driver just pulled over. He's like, everyone get the fuck out. We're like, you fucking asshole, Craig, you fucking asshole.
But I just want to say something there. The damage is done. The fart's
we need a Gocsy. I could have lit a cigarette, got rid of the
Yeah.
smell for you.
But like that is, I guess it's get out of disrespect or
Yeah,
whatever. But
yeah.
it's like
It's
the damage
that.
is done, mate. You might as well get the fare.
Brother, wind the window down, grow up. You know what I mean?
But that is one of those jobs where it's like
He's probably on his last tether.
It's one of those jobs where both sides hate each other, because it's like it is not a nice job, and they're not making massive amounts of money, but the other side feel like they're being ripped. And
Yeah.
like I said, there is dickheads who go long ways.
Yeah,
and
you-
that.
I've got them ripped off
I
me.
always hated getting cabs. I hated watching it tick over.
Oh yeah, you watch
Because
money's raining.
we're not moving. Why is it going up? But it's,
It stresses you
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Now
the
you
meter.
aren't a taxi driver anymore, but you do a lot of. We also haven't had anyone who's an air tasker on.
I'm kicking goals here.
you
I'm
are-
like,
you
yeah.
are-
I'm
You're
loving
the
the air
first of
tasker
many.
updates. You're walking dogs, you're delivering dogs, you're taking people to
security
music
guard.
festivals.
Do you think I just want to ask, do you think is because I'm just doing the actual scum jobs, is this why you've never had these people?
No,
No.
we're all doing scum jobs.
Yeah.
Everyone's got
Yeah.
a job, you know.
No way.
I like
no
anyone
way.
who's working. You can never shit on anyone who's working and trying to make it crossed. You know.
Yeah.
No, we're just so excited because we've never had a taxi driver, we've never had an air tasker,
Yeah.
okay, and we've also never had Gocs.
Yeah,
so
well,
we've just got 3 brand new things
in
right
a,
here, right
in
now.
a weird way, I'm not proud of myself in that they're not good jobs, but in the way of
they're
I'll do
jobs.
what I need to do to.
Yeah,
But you're
support
doing
my
stuff
family.
intermittently between
Yeah.
ads and comedy
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
like that. It's like, mate, there's nothing wrong with that. Those
No.
flexible jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
We're
what it is. It's a
we're
flexible
definitely
job.
not making fun of you.
It's I'm proud of how scummy I'm prepared to be.
No, you should be
It's
proud that you
great.
got a good work
Yeah.
ethic and you're trying to provide for
Exactly
your
right.
family. There's nothing
Yeah.
fucking wrong with
well,
that, mate.
well, I appreciate you saying exactly what I told you to say, but no.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I
Now
didn't
give me $50.
Yeah.
He's actually going to do my
All
mow my
right.
lawns this week
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me. So
I'll give you $50, but that's 9 hours work. Yeah. So Airtasker, for those who don't know, I'm sure most do, but it's an app.
Yeah.
For the little shitty jobs that no one wants to do. So
I get a lot of stuff done on it. You get some
Yeah.
really quality dudes in there fixing
Yeah.
shit.
But
and-
yeah, well, that's the thing. So if you haven't noticed a trend with me, I'm not qualified in anything. That's why I've
you're
got to do.
qualified in comedy, mate.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
right.
go.
Yeah, it's a Cert 3 at TAFE, I believe. Yeah.
It ain't a Cert 3, mate. It's a Cert 2.
We
yeah.
won't go into comedy courses,
No,
right?
no.
I gotta anyway, yeah, so yeah, if you haven't noticed the trend, I'm not qualified in anything, so that's why I have to take these scummy jobs, or actually there's a term, unskilled labor. It's not very nice, but that's a real So, they could come up with a nicer word, I reckon. They could
Just labour's fine.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, so the way Airtasker works, people will post the job. It's similar to a lot of these apps, Airbnb, whatever, Tinder.
Very good.
Except you
there,
don't-
very
Good job, a
flirty.
head job. Am I right? Yeah. Nah, haven't got any hits in months anyway.
it's a bit like Tinder, except you don't stand there with a fish to impress the person.
That's right,
You've
right.
actually got to tell the person what you. But yeah,
you
so
can do.
but what I'm saying about being unqualified, a lot of things come up, and I'm like, can't do that, because it'll be like plumbing. We need a chippy, anything that's qualified. So I've just got to look for the very, as I said, unskilled. So a lot of it's going and taking people's rubbish away. A lot of dropping off.
Want to like the tip.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the tip. I end up taking it home, which I've gotten in trouble for. Yeah.
What do you mean you take the rubbish home?
Well, because the idea is like I'll put it in the backyard and then I'll work out what to do with it later.
Yep.
Later never comes, and then the landlords are really angry. Yeah.
So your backyard's
So
full
you
of
turn
rubbish.
your back garden into a tip.
Yeah, pretty much.
You should have buried it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Where were you before I got?
That's what my granddad used to do. He's like,
Or-
mate, we'll bury
Well,
all this stuff. Don't worry.
They did back in the day, but like they'd just burn stuff too.
Yeah,
and bury,
I remember the old
the
days.
two Bs.
So have
But,
you got rid of was your backyard still full of rubbish?
I've gotten rid of it. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
They put a skip there for me to fill up.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So that sort of stuff is what I do. But every now and then, like so you get both ends of the spectrum, some very horrible jobs, and then some pretty cool ones. Like it's amazing, like some really like quick and simple one. The quickest I had, I don't know if I should say the business. Rebel Sport, is that all right to say?
Yeah.
Nothing bad, but they're
Oh, you're going to
I
give
was
us a...
trying to think of like a rhyme,
You're
like
gonna
it
give us a
starts with
code.
R and ends with
Yeah,
rhymes with Trevor.
Yeah, very good.
Anyway, you can beep that out, but
Okay. We won't.
it's a sports source. I've said it. I just forgot for that.
Gocsy,
brief-
they paid you, mate. They can't take it
Yeah.
back.
So what it was, apparently their staff aren't allowed to lift things, and this lady had bought a basketball hoop. You know the stand.
Oh, they
yeah.
can't pick it up to the car because it's heavy
So
or whatever.
I had to just
What?
put it in her car for her. So it was literally like a minute work.
Oh, so you drove to Rebel Sport,
Yeah.
picked up the thing for her, put it in a car.
And she
What?
said thanks.
So that means that they have to have an air tasker for every time someone buys something a bit
Or
heavy.
or if
Or you
someone
lift
can
it
do
yourself.
it. Yeah.
Well, I suppose what it is because but also then you shouldn't be selling things, but you sell stuff But then they're like, well, this thing weighs as a 2-person lift. It's not up to the store to then, because it's probably their insurance or whatever, or they're going to walk out of the store.
Well, they've obviously thought about it.
Then don't sell it then if you're not going to put it in someone's car or give them a hand.
Could you pick it up by yourself?
That was the other good thing. I think we did it together.
That's
teamwork.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad if I got there and I was like, I can't do this. Can we do it together? But I think she wanted it. It was
just wanted a hand.
But that was an example of a nice quick one.
Yeah, that's bananas.
I like the dog walking ones that you post or picking up dogs. They always look stoked. You're like, hell yeah. And you're like, I'm taking a dog for a walk. Fuck yeah.
How many dogs do you walk at a time?
I've only had one so far.
Oh, just one? Okay.
And we had a pet sitting though. We had 2 cats at once. That was crazy. I thought I'd lost them as well. But we found it in the wardrobe and it was like a really expensive cat. I started doing I think they've done this in a few movies and stuff, but the classic, like, what if I was to purchase a fake and...
Oh, swap it over, just paint one.
If you lost the cat, you spray painted the cat to look like it.
There's that classic horse racing one, I think.
Mate, they get out and they fucking love hiding and they don't come out when they call you as well.
But lucky it was just in a wardrobe, but...
I like the one where you were security guard for a kids' party.
That was my favourite.
Wait, you were a security guard?
Yeah.
Well, no, we'll see. I use the term security guard loosely, but technically I was. But basically,
technically you were.
They said this was unskilled labour.
So I just sat in the car listening to the footy on the radio. It was like a semi-final or something, and doesn't matter about the footy anyway. We can talk about the footy later.
Sounds like you're slacking off on this job.
If you need to know, it was Swans versus Port Adelaide.
Who won?
Swans.
Okay.
All right.
I need to know. Yeah.
And then they didn't do too well in the grand final. But anyway, let's turn this into a footy pod. So fuck this work.
Fuck this off.
So it's quite a wealthy area. So like that doesn't matter anyway. But they just said the lady didn't want the party to turn to shit as things can with teenagers and
That's right. What are they called?
So she just wanted me
Party
to watch.
Crashes.
Yeah.
Yes. So she just wanted me to watch to make sure no one jumped the fence, no teenage brats, right? Mm-hmm. And no one did. But the funny thing about that is, like I said, I just sat in the car, listened to the footy, just watched the fence. But I don't even know what I would have done. I think she just wanted me to alert her if they did. I'm not sure. Like, was I supposed to go and tackle him as he's
hey mate, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Is that guy from that Korn ad?
Kids these days are huge too. He probably would have been like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but if something did kick off, you could just always drive away. Like, you keep the fee, guys.
I'll be like, where do you think you're going? He'll be like, who are you talking to? My name's
right this way. Open up the gate for him.
You got
Give him a boost over the fence.
Big private school boy on a scholarship or whatever. But yeah, they brought me. They got a pizza delivered for me. She brought me a coffee and a donut.
That's nice.
I was treated like royalty.
See, there's good
man,
kids
I love that when
you're right. So
when you get a hard-working job and someone fucking comes and gives you a feed or when we used to have tradies come to a house or something like that or whatever, where someone's doing something, Mum would always make sandwiches, tea and coffee or whatever. Made sure they had water or whatever. Every time I did fucking removals, 1 out of 50 cunts would offer you a cup of tea or anything, and you're like, do you know how hard I work is based on me? And
Brad, I hate
people
to
rock
tell
up
you.
a cup of coffee, you go, I'm done, I'm in, thank you.
Brad, I hate to tell you, I think his mum fancied the chippy.
Ooh.
God, well, Mum was a bit of a player. She used to do it to bloody everyone. No wonder she was giving sandwiches to the neighbour for no reason.
Flirting with the taxi drivers.
I didn't mean that to be like a your mum joke.
It was Gocsy, and now I know my mum's quite a loose lady.
Slut.
Whoa, Mum listens to this.
I love
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Well,
stop giving lunch.
I said loose.
Okay, well, I was just giving another word.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you're
Stop giving lunch to ladies if you don't want to be known
now you know Sue's watching. She's a fighter.
Sue.
She
would be, actually.
Stop giving lunch to tradies if you don't want to be known as promiscuous.
Yeah, exactly. Women can't win.
You can't win. And she'd always make out with them just to really motivate them.
Yeah.
I always say, Mum used to say, get a bit of blood in their python. If they're a little bit hard, they'll work extra hard.
Oh my God, Sue would never say that.
Yes, that's her motto. She had it on a shirt.
It's her lower back tattoo.
It's her lower back tattoo. It was Mum's tramp stamp. She fucking loved it.
So, Gocsy, how long have you been doing comedy? Because of all the jobs that have changed along the way, the most constant one you've had the whole time, apart from being a dad, is comedy. So how long have you been doing comedy for?
I started comedy around 2007.
Okay, all right.
There was a year, I don't count it, but 1 year before I had like one... Well, raw comedy. I did one raw comedy set and then just left it for a year.
Why? What happened? What was it?
Too
What was
good.
it?
I don't. It's
Natural, easy. Next.
Obviously, it's a long time ago now. We're talking almost 20 years, so
Yep.
it's that era's a bit blurry.
And you were representing.
But
Is this in Brisbane?
Yeah. Because most people do it like they tell the gang, the mates, the family, you get a big squad. But that first one, I just had a few jokes and I didn't tell anyone when I did it and didn't progress. So that's why I don't really count it. But the next year I was like, you made a big hoo-ha about it. I think I had 8 or 9 people come, which is still the record. You know, after that, the novelty wears off. Mm-hmm. You're more like, please come to a show. And they're like, nah.
Yeah.
We only want to see that first one as a not.
Yeah, we want to see you maybe bomb and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I went better. I went better 07. Obviously, had thought about the set over a year and polished it. And no, it wasn't polished.
Oh, so your first 2 gigs were raw.
Yeah,
year, and there was
which
a year
is pretty
between.
common for a lot of people.
Can I tell you the gig that stressed me out most when I saw you do was at Lucky Cock Comedy, which is upstairs. It was a Notorious Death Pit. It was the only gig I get when I moved to Melbourne. And I saw you on stage, and you didn't know this, but there was a curtain, and you're on stage with roller skates.
Rollerblades.
Sorry.
Don't put me in with those nerds.
No. Sorry. I want to throw shade on you,
Don't
Gocsy.
put me in with the 2x2s. I'm a straight down.
You're straight down the fucking line, mate. You're a straighty 180. You heard it here first. But you didn't know that behind that curtain there was just a big window. And we were like 2 or 3 stories up, and you're on stage with skates. And I don't want to say it was not definitely the most elegant man I've ever seen on a set of skates. It was scary, and I was like, that cunt's going out that window. And I was like, can I get 2 more beers? And I'm going to watch this.
Oh my god!
Actually, that would have made my career a bit more memorable. If you know when you got
R.I.P. Gocsy, how did he go? He fell out the window.
That would have probably been around 27 too.
I think he had a gold jacket on as well. I loved it all.
Well, that was my sort of I've got to do something to stand out period because the jokes aren't good enough.
And so so there was a stage where you were wearing.
Well, talking about Raw. Speaking of Raw, that not very first. That second year, we won't count that first one. But talking about like needing things to stand out, I was wearing a the tuxedo T-shirt.
Oh yeah,
because that's something you learn as you go, where you're like try and let the jokes do the work. That was still my like.
You don't have to tell me. I used to wear a cardigan and have a flip chart.
Really?
Yeah, had a flip chart.
Yeah, and a cap with like a propeller.
Yeah. What a nerd.
But it is something you just learn.
Tie came up.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember my jokes. Always had the punchlines on a piece of paper or drawn out.
I guess
I was too stressed about
maybe that was
5 minutes.
why. Maybe that's why I didn't win the whole thing. I stopped wearing the tuxedo T-shirt.
I reckon that's exactly what let you down.
They said this guy is not classy enough to get into us.
We only put him through the next round because of the shirt.
So you got through the next round.
Yeah, I actually went through to the Queensland final, state final.
Yep.
And then I kept entering years after and never got as far. So the lesson in that is
give up.
No.
I remember when
I was obsessed with Raw. I entered more times than you're supposed to.
Yeah. Do you know when I first
maximum
moved,
3, I think.
It is maximum 3. When I first moved to when I moved to Brisbane, I was like, I might do Raw, and but I've done. They're like, how many have you done? I was like, I've done 2. I've already done 2. I did 2 in Victoria. So I guess this will be my. Oh, maybe I only did 1 in Victoria. 1 in Victoria. So this will be my second time. And someone said, "Don't worry about how many times you've done it. Gocsy did it 8."
Am I the
everyone's talking about Gocsy did it 8 times.
guy for too many?
Nah,
Man, there's
never
so
too
many
many.
At least they said, "Don't worry."
They said,
they
"Don't
weren't
worry."
just like. Like make sure you limit it because this guy and he was fucked and like but it is something. It is interesting to learn because I was just very like I just wanted to be in it, but there is some people who like pace themselves and like I'm not ready yet. I'm gonna. But
the other thing is, like, I know it's a big comedy competition. It's a great starting point, and if you get through, it's awesome. But heaps of people didn't get through. I think I only made it to a state final in Perth. I never got through to the main thing or whatever. And I've been on the gala, so go fuck yourself, cunts. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can get through. Like you don't have. It doesn't have to be that pathway.
I do.
It's for everyone who doesn't not a comedy guy. Like raw comedy is kind of where you start and you progress, and then like if you get picked up by you can start there. If you get picked up by the Melbourne Comedy Festival, it's a fucking awesome. You can go into the comedy zone.
Yeah.
It's an awesome opportunity for those people to get through, but I never did.
You know how I was saying about being obsessed with it. So I'm up in Brisbane. and I'm watching, and so I do stuff now with Jonathan Schuster, another comedian, and he won it that 07.
Yeah, he did win, yeah.
But anyway, I didn't know who he was then, and I'm watching in Brisbane, and I did the classic, like he was funny. He was funny his set, but I was doing the very, like, you know, the interstate rivalry thing. I was because I watched the final, I'm like, oh, I'm funnier than this shit. Like, they're just putting the bloody Melbourne... Well, I don't think woke was around then, but like
Melbourne Dork.
I think we called it whimsical back then. They put in the whimsical guy in.
Oh,
you know.
yes.
Especially
I like
back
Gocsy's
then.
hard-hitting political stuff. Anyway, look at me in my skates and my gold vest.
No, the blades hadn't arrived by then. That took,
my bad.
That took 7 years to think of that.
Chicken
See, I didn't come
bomb.
down. Like, people move things quicker now. Like, I didn't start to go into state for like 7 years or whatever.
Yeah, actually, I've been hearing this a lot lately because comedians, we travel a lot. And when I started, Georgie Carroll said to me, I think I was like a year in, Carroll said to me, if you want to be taken seriously, you have to travel.
Yeah.
And you have to go to different cities, because if you just get really used to just playing, this is when I was living in Brisbane, if you just only get used to Brisbane crowds, when you go to Adelaide or when you go to Perth, it lands differently.
Yeah.
And you have to get
I did
good at
like 2
ones.
years in before I moved, I did every state, and it was a fucking...
Yeah, you
oh
make
my
no
God,
money.
I was staying in a backpacker, not getting paid, just getting on the shittest gigs ever.
Yeah.
And but I loved it. I would sing heaps of Pierce, and it was fucking sick. I still do now.
Talking about like the never being out of Australia thing, like there's various reasons, and not one or two or whatever, but I did when I was full-time working and get my 2 weeks a year or whatever they give you, very generous. But I would use it to come to...
Very generous.
Yeah. I would use it for comedy. I would go to Sydney and Melbourne, because that was my
That's my holiday as well. I'm like, that's what I do, yeah.
That, to me, this is going to sound very deep, but it was true, was like... And I really was jealous of people going overseas. Like, I want to go to America and see yellow school buses and big cups of Coke and stuff. And
that does
was a little
amazing.
backhanded to America.
Fuck the Statue of Liberty. I want to see it, man. But when you see a big gulp,
bus?
Even when I saw I was in Texas or whatever, and I got a big gulp, and I was like, hell yeah! I was smiling.
They really are big,
man. It's huge, and the Powerade in the big gulp was cheaper than water. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah,
Gocsy, but I have to ask you, what is the worst gig you've ever done?
Whoa,
the worst one. I know this is a big one for you, because you will do anything.
As we all know, bad gigs come in different shapes and sizes, rude audiences, whatever. So
I've had them all, mate. Yeah.
I've had like mics cutting in and out. That was some of really bad ones where it's just like, like whatever, and that's just me. No. But and then another one Not saying you guys would. I think this would have happened to anyone, no matter how great you are, where like the demographic just doesn't suit you. So I did Melbourne Uni, which it was like 0 weeks. So they're like 18 or whatever. And it was like half an hour, just like no laughs. I was the only comedian on, which I do quite a lot of gigs like that. They're not ideal, but because, the best gigs is like host support.
Half an hour.
That was... There used to be this game show. It didn't last very long, but it was Red Simon's. It was around the time of The Weakest Link, and it was called Shafted. And when you lost, the floor would just open up and you go through. Like, I don't know where you go to. Somewhere at Channel 9 Studios. I'm imagining there's a high jump mattress there or something. But that was the time. So. The reason I bring that up, that was a time when I wanted the floor to just open up.
Yeah.
I wanted Red Simon's to be like, you're shafted, right?
Thank God.
So just half an hour, no laughs. And I just, professionalism, you charge along. And so, like I said, I was the only comedian on. The band, the chats were on after. And it's like, I'm mates with them and love them and that. But it's one of those times when you're like, I hope they don't dance just to show that. But then they went on and the kids are like, yeah. So it's like, but comedy can be like, because I thought about it after, and like, I don't like to blame audiences. Like, I often look inside and say, I have to be better. But then I was like, I'm fucking double their age. I'm talking about Red Rooster around the suburbs. They're young people's humour now, you know?
It's different. But if I went to a room full of fucking senior citizens or 70 plus, you know, I will struggle. You know what I mean?
Coolaman loved you. I took Brady to my hometown, where I'm originally from, this little town in Riverina called Coolaman.
Yeah, country
and they
old.
loved you. They loved you so much.
It's like dog years, like 50 in the country.
People are more chill and more, you know, if you went to some fucking uppity area or whatever, you know?
Well, I like to pride myself on sort of range, like having a pretty, you know, being able to
accessible.
Go out. Yeah, like some people can do Fitzroy but not out in the burbs. I don't. But age is definitely a real thing. Like I struggle with sort of like 60 plus or less than 20. Well, the other thing is like
because it's what's relatable to you in comedy, and then you're talking about something that's not relatable to them. You know, whereas if a young person like Lewis Garnham or, you know, it gets on, like that's more relatable to the young. Oh my God,
he's so good. At Catfish, he's the perfect one for Catfish.
Yeah, they love him at Catfish.
I love him so much. When I get up on Catfish, I wonder how you go.
Well, you can see my references are like Red Simons. Like
yeah.
I got a reference to Steve Monaghetti. You know that guy who won gold about 50 years ago? All the old ladies.
And it's like you're going to talk about beer, I'm going to talk about Chalky Milk. They're all on what's it called?
Fucking zero alcohol beers or vapes and it's
what's
changed.
that?
Not me, mate. I'm still cool. I'm still
like
still one of the youth.
Kombucha.
Oh, kombucha. Yes. Oh, Brady, not in here.
Yeah.
Not in here, Brady. Got to get
It's a vape.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's not. It's a portable smoke machine.
But so if anyone's like listening at booked gigs, like I will do any age, but yeah,
you will, and people do. Like I've seen you turn a room around. Like I've done a few gigs with you, and sometimes it'll be the room just will not kick off. Like the room will be like just kind of like wading through mud. Every comedian gets up and they do fine. But when you get up, you have like ripped the roof off, and you don't.
Thank you.
And you don't. Like it's like you don't notice, and this is that. It sounds like a slight, but it's not. You just take it in your stride. You're like, yep, that's fine. I expected that.
Yeah, what Brett was saying about the ones we did, like that was
you fucking killed.
We had a pretty good range of ages, like
we had 3 good shows. It was fucking sick, you know, and you killed every night. It was fucking awesome. And then you're like, he's like, oh, you're 20. I went a bit over. I was like, that's great, Gocsy. I have to do less work.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was nice and chill. Well, Gocsy, we've chewed enough of your bloody ear off.
You got anything to plug?
Anything to plug at the moment? Socials? You got anything going online or?
I'm having a boxing match in April. If you
want. For the Alpha Male blog.
I shouldn't talk about rival pods, but
no. We love the guys.
Just beep that out.
No.
But so that's like you're saying about
podcast.
Availability. A lot of people.
I've been on the Alpha.
Most people, when I've told this, are like, "Why?" But I'm like, I was hoping for a bit more, sort of like, good on you, mate. But
it's awesome because they got because their podcast is so big. They put on a big boxing event last year, the Gold Coast Entertainment Centre. They fucking sold it out. They're one of the biggest podcasts in Australia.
So, Gocsy, you're competing,
and he's fighting another. Oh, man, I wanted to get on and fight someone. I was like, "Fuck, how do I?"
Yeah. Well, we can spar if you want. But
do it now.
I've actually another Angus Gordon reference.
Yes.
He's training me at the moment. We've only had 2 sessions. Yeah. Well, that's part of the reason why I let him not drive, because I'm like, I don't want him to punch me.
He'll knock you out. He'll drive you into the wall.
Can you drive a bit, please? And he's like, no, I don't want. No, I'm joking. He's not a
Who are you fighting?
His name's Buster Kirby.
Yeah, I know Buster.
He's a large gentleman.
He's a big dude.
Look, I'm no slim chicken. I don't know what the saying is.
No, but what I will say, every time I see you playing cricket or rugby, you've got some fucking speed on you for a big dude. I reckon you're faster than me. Like you take off like a fucking spring chicken. I'm like, it doesn't make any physical sense.
I was actually fit for half my life. It's only the second half I've let myself go. So
mate, the pins are still got it.
Underneath somewhere is a good sporting person.
Fucking Usain Bolt body.
But I'm a bit worried. I've never been a
he's
fight.
Very fit. He's very fit. I've seen lots of. He's lost a lot of weight, and he will be taking it seriously. Are you nervous? Are you nervous?
I am very nervous. It's actually funny because
mate. One and done.
I probably shouldn't.
One hit wonder.
I probably shouldn't say this. It'll ruin the illusion a bit. But I've never met him, but we've been messaging each other. But he did say we have to stop now because we can't get too friendly because then we won't want to punch each other.
You'll just cuddle. That'd be adorable to watch.
I could still fight my friends.
But I am looking forward to the lead-in. You know, I want to do the whole like the weigh-in thing where you like get too close and
you almost
you're like,
kiss each
Man,
other.
you got to have you got to come out with like a big clock on or something, or some cool glasses or some shit.
Because I love a lot of different sports, but I have to admit I'm not. Do you get into a bit of the fighting stuff? Or
I don't mind it, but
you're probably a bit like me. You like footy and you like a fight that's in the footy.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of biff, but I'm not one of those guys. Like I like it, I respect it. I don't watch and know everything about it. If it's on, I'll fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Gocsy, what are your chances of winning? What do you reckon? If you're a betting man?
Look, I want to win.
That's all you need.
You're gonna win. You need a winner's mindset, Gocsy. Mate, we're backing you. You can be sponsored by Workades.
Being a fan, yeah. Do you guys want to do? Have you ever seen the local fights? They ride on the back, like it'll usually be like something mechanics or.
Yeah, we can put Workades.
I'm a pretty hairy man. I can shave in Workades into my back.
We would love that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
We would love that. We'll get the Patreon going for that.
Well, good luck, mate. We hope you win.
Make sure you follow Aaron Gocs on all the social media, and make sure you watch his upcoming boxing event, ladies and gentlemen.
But other than that, I was just going to say, remember, I'm available for things.
Always available.
Yeah,
he's around.
Yeah, so if you want me, Air Tasker, taxi,
DM, he's there.
Asbestos demolition.
Mate, what can't you do?
Exactly.
A lot of things, but
guys,
anything unskilled for me. But yeah, thanks a lot.
No. Thanks for joining us, guys. If you're not already the Patreon, please make sure you do get around us. Follow us on the Instagram, and if you're not already, jump on the YouTube and give us a little subscribe. All that shit helps us monetize the pod and keep this fucking content coming at you guys. Until next time, have a good one. Thank you. I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets. Kill me.